This week, you paid more for gas than you did last month. You probably didn't think much about it. You swiped your card, watched the number climb, and drove away. But I want you to think about that moment because that feeling, that quiet wince at the pump, is the only visible symptom of something that is reshaping every single number in your financial life right now. Your grocery bill, your rent, your retirement accounts, the price of everything you're about to buy this year. Most people see the gas price and think Middle East conflict, expensive commute, annoying. What they don't see is what's running underneath it, and that's what this video is all about. Here's where it starts. There's a narrow strip of water between Iran and Oman called the Strait of Hormuz. At its tightest point, it is 21 miles wide, and that is smaller than some cities. And yet, every single day, 21 million barrels of oil pass through it. That's 20% of the world's entire daily oil supply. Nearly 30% of all oil moves by sea, and this isn't the first time this region has held the world to ransom. The 1973 Arab oil embargo started here and triggered the worst recession in a generation. Prices quadrupled overnight, queues stretched around city blocks, the economic damage lasted years. And we've been here before, and every time, people are surprised. When tensions flare in that region, oil traders don't wait for an actual disruption. They start building up prices immediately. Just the risk of something happening is enough. Economists call this risk premium, and in the past month, that risk premium sent crude oil prices up nearly 47%. That's where 4, 5, even $6 a gallon comes from. But here's what nobody explains on the news. Oil doesn't just go in your car. Oil is the input cost for basically every physical thing you buy. It powers the truck that brings groceries to your store, the tractor that harvested the wheat, the factory that made the packaging, the ship that crossed the Pacific. When oil spikes, every single one of those steps gets more expensive, and every single one of those companies passes the cost to you. And here's the part that really stings. Those prices almost never come back down. Companies discover that you'll pay the new price, so they keep it there, and that's called price stickiness. The crisis ends, but your bill, it doesn't go down. The Strait of Hormuz is 8,000 miles away, but it just hit your wallet, and your gas tank is only where it started. So what does all of this mean for your household right now? Here's the number that hit me the hardest. Yale's Budget Lab estimates that the average household has lost about $3,800 in purchasing power this year. Not from some abstract economic force, from this, from what's happening right now. And it doesn't hit everyone equally. The bottom 60% of earners spend close to 4% of their take-home pay on gas, and the top 10% spend about 2%. An oil shock is effectively a regressive tax, meaning it falls hardest on the people who can least afford it. Oxford Economics put a number on what that does to the broader economy. For every 1 cent increase in gas prices costs the US economy $1.5 billion in consumer spending over the year. So that means a full $1 jump, which is what we're seeing, is $150 billion. Not going into local businesses, not going into savings, not going into investments, just gone. And that is only what you can see on the gas station sign. The part you can't see is much bigger. Now here's where I want to push back on something. Maybe you drive electric. Maybe you've been thinking, this gas price thing doesn't really hit me the same way. But the thing is, the vehicle that actually runs your economy isn't a car, it's a diesel truck. Farm equipment runs on diesel, cargo ships run on diesel, construction equipment, fishing vessels, refrigerated freight, they all run on diesel. So whether you like it or not, the entire physical supply chain of your life runs on diesel. So when diesel prices spike, the cost of growing your food, building your home, and shipping everything you buy spikes with it. Fertilizer prices follow, food prices follow, you just can't see it on the label. The gas price is the part of the story you see on a neon sign. The diesel price is the part that quietly inflates everything else. So why does oil have so much power over every price in the economy? Look around, wherever you are right now. The plastic on your phone case, oil. The polyester in your shirt, oil. The paint on your walls. The soles of your shoes, oil. Over 6,000 consumer products are made from petroleum derivatives. Oil isn't just fuel, it's the raw material the modern world is made of. And 1 barrel of oil contains the energy equivalent of about 25,000 hours of human manual labor. That is 12 years of full-time work in a barrel the size of a trash can for around $100 now. And that's why a t-shirt costs $10. That's why strawberries are available in January. The whole cheap, disposable economy all runs on oil. And think about the t-shirt. The cotton was grown with petroleum-based fertilizers, harvested by a diesel tractor, spun in a factory powered by fossil fuels, dyed with synthetic chemicals derived from oil, and wrapped in a plastic bag, shipped across the Pacific on a container ship burning bunker fuel, delivered to your door all on diesel. So when you pay $10 for it, you are not paying the true cost of that energy. You're paying a subsidized rate because oil was cheap enough that nobody had to think about it. But the thing is, that era is changing, and you can feel it everywhere. Let me give you an example of how this plays out. Sarah is a teacher in Ohio. She hasn't changed anything about her life. Same apartment, same car, same grocery store. But the thing is, this month, her weekly shop went from $175 to $215. That's $40 a week added. $160 a month, nearly $2,000 a year gone, without a single new purchase, without a single new decision. But the thing is, she's not alone, and that's the whole point. This isn't just hitting people who were already struggling, it's hitting families who did everything right, saved, bought sensibly, built a buffer, and now we are watching that buffer quietly drain away without a single obvious cause. Prices adjust fast. Salaries, they adjust slowly, if they adjust at all. And most people are getting quietly poorer right now without a single thing in their life visibly changing. And that's the hidden cost of a conflict 8,000 miles away. Not a dramatic event, just a slow, invisible squeeze on everyone's kitchen table. So at this point, you might be thinking, okay, I get it, oil is everywhere, but I'm switching to electric. I'm getting solar panels, I'm opting out of this whole system. Even building the green economy requires burning a lot of oil first. A wind turbine needs steel. Steel needs high heat furnaces that still mostly run on fossil fuels. The turbine blades are fiberglass and petroleum-based resin. These ships that install them offshore run on diesel. Solar panels need energy-intensive manufacturing. And batteries need mining equipment that burns fuel. If we simply stop investing in new oil production before the new energy system is actually ready, we create a supply squeeze. Oil stays expensive and volatile through the entire transition, and economists are already calling this greenflation. The cheap energy era is ending either way. The only question is how prepared you are when it does. Now here's something that might surprise you. Your instinct right now is probably to move your money, pull back, go to cash, wait for it to blow over. Don't. I know this feels counterintuitive, but when everything around you is getting more expensive and the news is full of conflict, the idea of keeping money in the market feels reckless. But that feeling, that urgency to do something, is exactly what causes most people to make the worst financial decision. They sell at the bottom, they wait for things to feel safe, and by the time it feels safe, the recovery is already over. Here's what the data actually shows. After a geopolitical shock, the average S&P 500 drawdown is about 5%. And the average recovery time, 42 days. After 9/11, markets recovered within a month. After the pandemic crash, 34% drop in 5 weeks, and back to all-time highs within months. 70% of the time, the market is higher 1 year after a major conflict than it was when it started. The people who panic sell lock in their losses, while the people who keep buying the same amount every month regardless of the headlines are the ones who look back on the moments like this and call them opportunities. And that's dollar cost averaging, and right now, it's your most powerful move. First, stop treating the gas price as the story. It's a signal. When you see a Strait of Hormuz headline, set your phone reminder for 3 months from now. That's when it hits your grocery bill. Use that window to pad your emergency fund before the prices arrive, and not while you are already absorbing them. Second, rethink what cheap actually costs you. A $15 thing you replace every year costs $150 over a decade. A $60 thing that lasts costs you $60. And buying quality right now is a genuine financial hedge. Every cheap, disposable product you buy is prepaying for oil at whatever price it happens to be when you need to replace it. And third, track your actual grocery number, not your vague sense of it, week by week. Every shock shows up there first, quietly. Your cart costs $12 more, then $18 more. Then you are spending $80 more a month without making a single different decision. The only way to catch it is to measure it. So you filled up this week, you winced at the number, you paid and drove away. And here's what was actually happening in the moment. a risk premium baked in by traders reacting to a conflict 8,000 miles away, crude costs flowing through to every truck, tractor, and factory in your supply chain, the price of your groceries, your clothes, your heating bill, all of it ticking up quietly in the background. All of that in one swipe of your card. Whether you like it or not, oil built the world you live in. The food on your table, the clothes on your back, the price of everything around you. All of it runs on this one molecule. And we are in the middle of a long, expensive, volatile renegotiation of what that molecule costs. And you can't opt out of that, but you can stop being surprised by it. So that feeling at the pump isn't the end of the story for most people, really it's just the beginning. And before you go, if this video helps you understand what's actually going on with your money right now, hit the like button and subscribe. I break down exactly this kind of stuff, the hidden forces that are quietly reshaping your finances every single week. And speaking of hidden forces, there is one invisible ingredient that's inside everything you own, everything you eat, and every price you pay. It's older than oil, and in some ways even more insidious, and that's salt. 75% of salt that you eat, you didn't add it. It was already there, put there deliberately, and there's a very specific reason for that. And that's the next video. I'll see you there.